The third dimension. Imagine a grade 3 teacher walking up to the whiteboard on a Tuesday morning. The room is quiet. The children are sitting on the carpet, cross-legged. She picks up a black marker. She does not look at the children. She writes a single word in big block letters, right in the middle of the board. She steps back. She lets the word hang there. The word is pattern. Then she turns. She says nothing. She just waits. For 3 or 4 seconds, nothing happens. Children look at the word. Some look at her. Some look at the carpet. The wait is uncomfortable, the way waits often are when you are 8. And then one hand goes up. Ayan. He says, the tiles on the bathroom floor, they go in a pattern. He says it like he's offering something he has been holding for a while. She nods. She writes bathroom tiles under the word pattern. Another hand, Sanvi. My grandfather hums a tune when he is shaving. It goes the same way every time. She writes it down. The room laughs gently. More hands. The drumming I do with my pencil when I'm waiting for lunch. The way my mother stacks the dishes. The black and white keys on the piano. The way the sun comes through the window at the same time every morning. The way every poem in our book has the same rhyming bit at the end. The way our class lines up before lunch. The shape of a beehive on the cover of last term's book. The seasons. The school timetable. The colors on a zebra. She writes them all down, 10 of them, 11, 12. She still has not said anything about what a pattern is. She has not defined it. She has not given them a worksheet. She has not told them they are about to do a unit on patterns. She has done one thing. She put a single word on the board and waited. The children did the rest. Watch what just happened. That single word, that one concept, opened 12 doors at once. The children were not given a topic. They were not even given a question. They were given an idea. And the idea pulled examples out of their lives. Music, architecture, family routines, plant biology, astronomy, poetry, school logistics. All of these were quietly waiting in the room. The concept just unlocked them. This is what a concept does. It is not a word. It is a doorway, and once you open it, the world walks in. What a concept actually is. We have been circling around this word concept for 2 chapters. It is time to land on it. A concept is a mental hook. It is an idea, not a thing. It is the name we give to a pattern that shows up across many specific situations. A concept is not a topic. The two get confused all the time. So let me show you the difference with examples. A tree is not a concept. A tree is a physical object. You can touch it, you can climb it. A tree lives in a specific place. There is a particular tree outside your window. That tree is a fact, a specific instance of something larger. Adaptation, on the other hand, is a concept. You cannot touch it. There is no specific adaptation you can point to as the only one. Adaptation is a pattern. The pattern shows up in the bird that grew a long beak. The pattern shows up in the desert plant that stores water. The pattern shows up in the human body's response to high altitude. The pattern shows up in a piece of software that learns from how you use it. Adaptation is the idea under all of these. It is not the example. It is what the examples have in common. Trees are facts. Adaptation is a concept. Do you see the difference now? The Civil War is not a concept. It is a topic. It happened in one specific place over one specific stretch of time. And it had specific causes and consequences. It is bounded. You can name when it began and when it ended. Conflict, on the other hand, is a concept. Conflict shows up in the Civil War. It also shows up in 2 siblings arguing about the television. It shows up in 2 nations arguing about a border. It shows up inside a single person trying to decide whether to forgive a friend. It shows up in a tragic play. It shows up in evolutionary biology, where species compete for the same niche. Conflict is the name we give to the deep pattern. The Civil War is one instance of the pattern. The Civil War is a topic. Conflict is the concept underneath. A topic has a date. A concept does not. A topic has a location. A concept does not. A topic is a member of a category. A concept is the name of the category. The three tests. Let me give you three tests you can use to check whether something is a concept or just a topic. You will use these tests for the rest of your career. The first test is the test of time. Is this idea timeless? Did it exist 100 years ago? Will it exist 100 years from now? Adaptation existed when humans were not here yet, and it will still exist when humans are no longer here. So adaptation passes the timelessness test. The Civil War only existed for 4 years. So it fails. Concepts are timeless. Topics are bound to time. The second test is the test of culture. Is this idea universal? Does it work across cultures? Conflict exists in every culture. It exists in every language. It exists in every story system humans have ever made. So conflict passes the universality test. Christmas, on the other hand, exists in some cultures and not others. So Christmas is a topic. Celebration is the concept underneath Christmas. Celebration exists in every culture. Christmas is one cultural instance of celebration. Concepts are universal. Topics are local. The third test is the test of abstraction. Is this idea abstract? Can you touch it? A bridge is a thing you can touch. So a bridge is not a concept. A bridge is a fact. Structure, on the other hand, is the idea underneath a bridge. You can find structure in a bridge and in a beehive and in a skeleton and in a piece of music and in a sentence. Structure is the concept. Bridges are one example. Concepts are abstract. Facts are concrete. Time, culture, abstraction. Run those three tests on any word and you will know in seconds whether you're looking at a concept or a topic. Here is a quick round of practice. Read each pair and decide which is the concept and which is the topic. A puppy or animal life. Animal life is the concept. A puppy is one specific instance. 20th century or change. Change is the concept. The 20th century is a topic in which change appeared. Voting or democracy. Democracy is the concept. Voting is a specific procedure inside it. Although voting itself can be examined conceptually too, as a tool of consent. Algebra or relationship. Relationship is the concept. Algebra is the discipline that studies certain kinds of relationships. Notice that this game gets fun fast. The concept is always the deeper, broader, more transferable layer. The topic is always the specific instance. A tour of concepts across subjects. Let me walk you through the subjects of school, naming concepts as I go. You will hear ideas you already know but have not framed this way. Listen for the ones that connect to what you teach. In the sciences, the great concepts are energy, system, equilibrium, change, form, and function, adaptation, cycle, interdependence, cause and effect, scale. In mathematics, the concepts include pattern, relationship, proportion, equivalence, quantity, representation, rate, symmetry, probability, function. In history and social studies, the concepts include power, conflict, cooperation, migration, inequality, legitimacy, identity, continuity, and change, causation, perspective, governance, ideology. In language and literature, the concepts include voice, audience, perspective, theme, structure, tone, persuasion, identity, conflict, symbol, genre, communication. In the arts and music, the concepts include composition, tension and resolution, pattern, form, function, expression, influence, tradition, innovation, symbol. In design and engineering, the concepts include function, constraint, trade-off, iteration, user, empathy, system, failure, optimization. In physical education and the early years, the concepts include cooperation, boundaries, rule, fairness, effort, belonging, role, well-being, risk. You will notice something. Some words appear in many lists. Change, pattern, system, conflict, identity, form, function. These are the concepts that cross disciplinary lines. They unite subjects. They sit above the divisions of the timetable. There is a name for these. We call them macro concepts. Other words appear in only one or two lists. Trophic level, metaphor, integer, stamen. These are concepts too, but they are tied to a specific discipline. We call these micro concepts. A good unit usually has one macro concept that acts as the lens, and it has two or three micro concepts that give the unit its disciplinary specificity. So a science unit on photosynthesis might have the macro concept, interdependence, as its lens. Underneath the lens, it might use the micro concepts, energy, cycle, and system. The macro concept gives the unit its breadth. The micro concepts give the unit its depth. The lens idea. In plain English. Let me unpack this word lens. You will hear it a lot. A concept used as a lens is what you choose to make the unit focus on. A topic on its own is too wide. A topic with a lens snaps into focus. Here is an example. Take the topic World War II. That is a topic the size of a continent. You could spend 3 years on it. You cannot teach it well without a lens. Choose the lens conflict. Now the unit becomes about the way conflicts escalate, the way they involve multiple parties, the way they end. You will use World War II as evidence for the bigger pattern of how conflicts work. Choose a different lens. Choose power. Now the same topic becomes a unit about how power is gained, how power is abused, how power is checked. The same events, but seen through a different lens, ask different questions. Choose another. Choose ideology. Now the unit is about how ideas can move whole populations to action, about how propaganda works, about how human beings come to believe terrible things are reasonable. Same topic. 3 different lenses. 3 completely different units. Each one is honest, each one is rich, each one teaches the events of World War II. But each one teaches something that travels beyond World War II as well. Each one gives the student a portable mental tool. This is what a concept does as a lens. It narrows, it focuses, it makes meaning possible. The first move of any concept-based unit is to choose the lens. Choose the wrong lens and the unit is wider than your students can hold. Choose a good lens and the whole unit walks itself. A kindergarten story that will settle this. Let me give you a story about how concepts work, even with the youngest children. A kindergarten teacher in Mumbai wants to teach the difference between living things and non-living things. The traditional version of this lesson is a worksheet. Tick the things that are alive. The worksheet has pictures. A dog, a rock, a tree, a spoon, a baby, a robot. The children tick the dog and the tree and the baby. The teacher marks. The lesson ends. The children, weeks later, still believe a cloud is alive because it moves. The concept-based version of this lesson looks different. The teacher lays out 6 picture cards on the carpet. 3 on the left, 3 on the right. On the left, a big tree with leaves, a puppy, a laughing baby. On the right, a gray rock, a small toy car, a fluffy cloud. The teacher says, the 3 on this side are alive. The 3 on that side are not. Be a science detective. What do the alive ones have that the not alive ones don't? She does not say the word alive. She does not give them the rule. She gives them examples and asks for the rule. Children who are wired beautifully for this kind of work lean forward. They argue. They notice that the puppy and the baby and the tree all grow. They notice that the puppy and the baby need food. They notice that the puppy and the baby and the tree all somehow make more of themselves. The tree makes seeds. The puppy will one day make puppies. The baby will one day grow up. The teacher writes their observations on a chart. Then she brings out the disruptive cards, the mystery cards, a fire, a seed, a robot dog, a river. Now, she says, use our rules. Is fire alive? Is a seed alive? Is a robot dog alive? Is a river alive? The children argue. The fire moves and eats wood, but it does not make more of itself. The robot dog moves and looks like a puppy, but it does not eat or grow or reproduce. The seed does not move, but it will grow and make more seeds. The river moves and never stops, but it does not grow on its own and does not have babies. By the end of 15 minutes, the children have arrived at a definition of life that a textbook would call accurate. Living things grow, take in food and water, and reproduce. They have not been told this. They have constructed it. Now show them a mushroom growing on a log. They have never been shown this before. Ask them, is it alive? The class will tell you it is. They will explain why. Their answer is not because it looks like a plant or because it's green. Their answer is because it grows and one day it will make more mushrooms. That is the test of transfer. That is what understanding sounds like. What was the concept underneath this lesson? It was not the word alive. The word alive is a label. The concept was form. Or in plain English, the idea that a category is defined by a set of common properties and that those properties are the rules for membership. That concept will let those children years later tell the difference between a mammal and a reptile. It will let them tell the difference between a metal and a non-metal. It will let them tell the difference between democracy and autocracy. The form and criteria concept is one of the great organizing ideas of the entire scientific tradition. And they met it in kindergarten without anyone using the word. Concept attainment, briefly named. What that kindergarten teacher did has a name. The name is concept attainment. We will go deeper into this in a later chapter. For now, hear it once, lightly. Concept attainment is the move of giving students examples and non-examples of an idea, and letting them figure out what makes the examples examples. Yes cards on one side, no cards on the other. What do all the yeses have in common? What do all the no's lack? That move is the engine of inductive teaching. It is the engine of concept-based inquiry. And it works at every age. The kindergarten teacher used it for the concept of life. A grade 8 history teacher uses the same move for the concept of revolution. A diploma teacher uses the same move for the concept of justice or sustainability. The move is the same, only the stakes get higher. For now, just hold the idea. You can show students what a concept is without ever telling them. You can let them build the concept themselves. And when they build it themselves, they own it. And what we own, we remember. The two moves that find the concept in any topic. I do not want to leave you with theory only. I want to leave you with two moves that find the concept in any topic. The first move is to ask why this matters at all. Take whatever topic you teach. Ask yourself, why does this matter? Why is it worth a student's time? When you have given an answer, ask the question again on top of your answer. Why does that matter? Keep asking 3 or 4 times. By the fourth why, you will have stripped away the topic. What is left is the concept. Take photosynthesis. Why does it matter? Because plants use it to make food. Why does it matter that plants make food? Because everything else on the planet depends on plants for food. Why does it matter that everything depends on plants? Because life on Earth is a web of dependencies, and if you remove one part of the web, the rest can collapse. There it is. The concept is interdependence. You arrived at it by asking why 4 times. The second move is to ask what this is an example of. Take the topic, ask yourself, what is this an example of? What larger idea would it sit inside in a textbook called The Big Ideas of Everything? The Civil War is an example of what? Of civil conflict, of ideological clash, of the costs of inequality being paid violently. The Civil War is one instance of the larger concept of conflict, especially conflict driven by deep moral disagreement. 2 moves, the why ladder, the example of game. Use them on every unit you teach. Within a few minutes, You will have a candidate concept on the page. You do not need to be a curriculum expert to do this. You need to be willing to keep asking until the topic gives way to the idea underneath it. The topic always gives way eventually. The concept is always there. Something to do before the next chapter. Pick one topic you're about to teach. Maybe it is on your plan for next week. Open a fresh notebook page. Write the topic at the top. Then run the two moves. The why ladder, the example of game. Land on a concept. Write the concept underneath the topic. Draw a thick line between them. Now ask yourself a final question. If a student left my class knowing only this concept and forgetting every fact about the topic, would they have something useful for the rest of their life? If the answer is yes, you have found the right concept. If the answer is no, the concept is too small. Go up one level. Try again. Ask the why one more time. You're starting to think like a concept-based teacher. The next move is to take that concept and turn it into a sentence that walks. That is what generalizations do. That is what Chapter 4 is for. The recap and what comes next. Here is what we have said. A concept is a timeless, universal, abstract idea. It is what survives when topics fade. Every topic has a concept underneath it. The concept is the lens. The lens is the focus of the unit. Two simple moves, the why ladder and the example of game, find the concept in any topic. And students of any age can build concepts themselves if you give them examples and let them notice the pattern. In the next chapter, we will take the concept and turn it into a full sentence. A sentence that names a relationship between two or more concepts. A sentence that is the destination of an entire unit. A sentence that, if a student takes nothing else with them, is the one thing they should leave with. We are about to meet the traveling sentence. Some teachers call it the generalization. Some call it the enduring understanding. By any name, it is the heart of the work. We meet it next.